Hi everyone, this is Kalpana Devi, Assistant Professor in Mallarity Engineering College for Women. My today's topic is about semiconductors. In this video, I'm explaining you about band theory of solids and classification of semiconductors. Generally, solids are classified into three types: insulators, semiconductors, and conductors. In this slide, this is valence band and this one is conduction band. The gap in between these two bands we call as energy band gap. Here, in the case of insulators, the band gap in between valence band and conduction band is greater than 3 electron volts. So, it requires more energy to get free flow of charges. Whereas in the case of semiconductors, the gap in between valence band and conduction band is less than 3 electron volts, which shows it requires a less amount of energy to get free flow of charges inside the material. Here, in the case of conductors, the valence band and conduction band overlaps with each other, and a little bit amount of energy is also sufficient to get free flow of charges inside the material. Actually, these all are energy bands. So how these energy bands form in a material, that I am going to show you by taking a simple example. Let us consider a single silicon isolated atom whose atomic number is 14. It is having 14 electrons which are revolving around the nucleus in particular orbits and 14 protons inside the nucleus. Its electron configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2 and 3p2. S orbital is having 2 energy states. Hence, it occupies 2 electrons. P orbital is having 6 energy states, so it occupies 6 electrons. In this configuration, 3s2 and 3p2 belongs to the outermost shell. Here, in this outermost shell, we have 4 filled energy states and 4 unfilled energy states. This electronic configuration we can represent in flat band model. Here, each level shows a particular orbit in the atomic structure of silicon atom: 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2 and 3p2. So these all are the energy levels of the silicon atom. Now, if we bring two atoms closer, then how this flat band model will be modified, that we see in this slide. This is for single atom flat band model. And now, if we bring two atoms closer, then how it modifies we see. When you bring two atoms closer, then its outermost orbits will overlap with each other. And here in the flat band model, each level will split into two levels. If, for example, if we take n number of atoms, and we bring all the n number of atoms closer, then how it happens in the flat band model, each level will split into n number of energy levels. A group of energy levels we call as a band. In silicon atom, we have 4 filled energy states and 4 unfilled energy states. Here, all these 4 filled energy states form a valence band, and 4 unfilled energy states form a conduction band. The gap in between these bands we call as forbidden energy gap. In this way, energy bands form in a material. Now the semiconductor. Our today's topic. In this semiconductor, we have a small classification, that is, semiconductors are classified into two types: intrinsic semiconductor and extrinsic semiconductor. Intrinsic semiconductors are pure semiconductors and extrinsic are impure semiconductors. Intrinsic semiconductor examples are germanium and silicon, and extrinsic semiconductor again classified into two types: N-type and P-type. This extrinsic semiconductor I will explain later. Now first we go with intrinsic semiconductors. These are pure form of materials. So here I have taken one simple example. Silicon material we are taking here, and this is the bond structure of silicon material, and this one is band structure of silicon material. In this, silicon is tetravalent element. That means it is having 4 valence electrons. Inside a silicon material, these atoms will form a bond with the neighboring atoms by sharing off its electrons. A bond is formed in between two atoms by sharing of electrons is known as a covalent bond. Hence, in a semiconducting material, we have covalent bonds. At T is equal to 0 Kelvin, all these electrons are bonded. No free electrons are available here. So it acts like an insulator at T is equal to 0 Kelvin. If we want to see this in band structure, at T is equal to 0 Kelvin, this is valence band and this one is conduction band. Here EC is upper bottom level of the conduction band and EV is upper level of the valence band. The gap in between these two bands is EG, energy gap. At T is equal to 0 Kelvin, this valence band is filled with valence electrons and conduction band is empty because all the electrons are bounded here. And now, as we rise the temperature of the material, then slowly these bonds break and electrons will become free by leaving an empty space in the lattice that we call as a hole. Here, in the band structure, at T is greater than 0 Kelvin, as we rise the temperature, these valence electrons absorb energy and excite to the conduction band by leaving a hole in the valence band. So here, 4 electrons absorb that energy and excited to the conduction band. Here, in the case of intrinsic semiconductors, number of electrons in the conduction band is equal to number of holes in the valence band. Here, this is all about intrinsic semiconductors. So at T is equal to 0 Kelvin, these semiconductors acts like insulators as temperature rises. That means more than 0 Kelvin. The temperature is more than 0 Kelvin, then these materials acts like conductors. That is why we are calling this kind of materials as semiconductors. So at certain conditions, it is acting like insulator, and at certain conditions, it is acting like conductor. That is why we are calling it as a semiconductor. Now we go with extrinsic semiconductors. Here, extrinsic semiconductors are classified into two types, N-type semiconductor and P-type semiconductor. First, we go with N-type semiconductor. Here, these semiconductors are impure semiconductors. Like, see, if this is the bond structure, again this is the bond structure and this is the band structure of N-type material. Here, how we are getting this N-type material means, see, to a pure material, we are adding some impurities. For example, if we add pentavalent elements to a pure semiconductor, then we can get N-type semiconductor. Pentavalent impurities are the one which are having 5 valence electrons. So example, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony, and bismuth. Here, to a pure semiconductor, we doped pentavalent impurity here. Pentavalent impurities are having 5 valence electrons. We have replaced one silicon atom with a pentavalent element here. Now, in these 5 valence electrons of this pentavalent element, only 4 will participate in the bonding and 1 extra free electron is available in the material. So here, if we add n number of impurities to a pure semiconductor, then we can get n number of free electrons in the material. So that we see in this band structure. So here, all these free valence electrons of this impure atom are lying in one extra energy level that we call as donor energy level, which is lying below, just below the conduction band. The gap in between EC and ED is about 0.01 electron volts. Here, the added impurities are having 5 valence electrons and 4 are participating in the bonding and 1 free electron is there, so that these added impure atoms can donate its electrons. So these impure atoms we are calling as donors. That is why this energy level where we get donor electrons are known as, this is known as donor energy level. Now, at T is equal to 0 Kelvin, what will be there? These all the electrons, these all the remaining electrons are bonded. T is equal to 300 Kelvin. The thermal energy we can calculate by taking this formula, the product of Boltzmann constant and temperature. So Boltzmann constant value is 8.617 into 10 power minus 5 electron volt per Kelvin. And T is temperature. Here we are taking 300 Kelvin. So by calculating it, we are getting 0.025 electron volts. So if we keep this entire material at room temperature, then the thermal energy is more than enough to move these donor electrons to the conduction band, because the energy gap in between EC and this donor energy level is very less. It is about 0.01 electron volts. So if we keep this material at room temperature, then these donor electrons easily move to the conduction band. So further rising of the temperature, then slowly these bonds, weaker bonds break, and these electrons, valence electrons, can also able to move to the conduction band by leaving a hole in the valence band. So that is why here initially at room temperature, these donor electrons can able to move to the conduction band. So more number of electrons are occupying in the conduction band here. And further increase of the temperature of the material, these valence electrons also move to the conduction band by leaving holes in the valence band. That is how more number of electrons are occupying the conduction band. Here, in the n-type semiconductor, number of electrons in the conduction band is greater than the number of holes in the valence band. Majority charge carriers are electrons in the case of n-type semiconductor. And now we go with p-type semiconductor. Here, p-type semiconductors are impure semiconductors, as we know. Here, to get this p-type semiconductor, we have to add trivalent impurities to a pure semiconductor. So here, silicon material we are taking and we are replacing the silicon atom with aluminum. Aluminum is a trivalent impurity. So there are some examples for trivalent elements: boron, gallium, indium, and aluminum. Here in this example, we are taking aluminum atom as impurity. So we have replaced this silicon atom with aluminum atom. Here, aluminum is a trivalent. This is having 3 valence electrons. All these 3 valence electrons will participate in the bonding, and one extra vacant site is there that we call as a hole. At T is equal to 0 Kelvin, this is the bond structure. As we rise the temperature of the material, slowly this neighboring bond breaks and this electron occupies this hole. This is the natural tendency. So electron try to occupy the neighboring vacancies. Now, if you want to see this in the band structure, then this is the structure. Here, aluminum is the added impurity here in the silicon material, and it is having extra hole. So it can accept electrons from neighboring atoms. So that these impurities we call as acceptors. All these acceptors occupy a separate energy level in the band structure. That energy level is known as acceptor energy level, which is lying just above the valence band. And here, the gap in between the upper level of the valence band and this acceptor energy level is from 0.01 electron volts to 0.05 electron volts. So it is easy for these valence electrons to move to this acceptor energy level. Here, if we keep this material at room temperature, the thermal energy is equal to 0.025 electron volts. So the gap in between acceptor energy level and EV is so small, so that if we keep this at room temperature, then easily these valence electrons can move to the acceptor energy level, and these acceptors can be ionized. Here, when these electrons moves from valence band to this acceptor energy level, then we have these empty sites in the valence band, which are known as holes. And now slowly by rising the temperature of the material, these bonds breaks and these electrons able to jump to the conduction band like this. And now In the case of p-type semiconductor, more number of holes are present in the valence band than the number of electrons in the conduction band. Hence, the majority charge carriers are holes in p-type semiconductor. Now, in this video, first I have explained you about the formation of energy bands in a material, and after that types of semiconductor. So first, intrinsic semiconductor. In intrinsic semiconductor, number of electrons in the conduction band is equal to number of holes in the valence band. And intrinsic semiconductors are pure semiconductors. Examples are silicon and germanium. And next one is extrinsic semiconductor. Extrinsic semiconductors are classified into p-type and n-type semiconductors. N-type semiconductors we can get by adding pentavalent impurities to a pure semiconductor. In that, electrons are majority charge carriers. And here, in the case of p-type semiconductor, we are getting this kind of materials by doping trivalent impurities to a pure semiconductor. Here, majority charge carriers are holes. This is all about today's video. Thank you all.